Hey everyone, Miff here, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS. We already have the spooky kind of nighttime music, but it's still a little too early for us to do the thieving quests that we have to do. We in general have a lot to accomplish in this episode, but first let me fully loot Marek's body, which for some brain lag reason I guess I didn't manage to do last episode. We didn't pick up this Potion of Freedom. And we're going to clear up some inventory space, like rework our inventory a little bit, especially when it comes to our potion case space. We're going to take these potions of heroism out, and we really need to start using all of these potions more because there's not that many notable fights left in the game, and even if I chugged all of those potions like on every notable fight, I think I still wouldn't run out. Anyway, we also have some people to level up. Yeslik is going to be level 6 in Fighter, which is pretty nice because at level 6 fighters get an additional weapon proficiency point, and that means that he can become specialized in flails and now finally put that flail +2 to its proper use. And also we have Koran, who reached level 7 in Thief, and in here I will have to talk a little bit about our choices when it comes to thieving abilities, because that's not his level, that's not his last level in Thief in the game. He's going to level up one more time, so that means that we effectively have 45 thieving skill points left. 20 from here and 25 from his next level up. And the really unfortunate thing about him is this really high open locks here. If he had like 40 points instead of, instead of open locks into something else, that would really open up some really cool options. Because as it is now, I think I'm going to go and just max that out for the convenience of having both find traps and open locks on one person. But of course it is a bit of a waste because it's an overlap with Imoen, who is already maxed out in open locks. But now if we consider our other options, we have 45 points to spend. It's not going to be enough to make detect illusion or set traps reliable enough. And we can also put it into stealth, but we have a lot of means to go invisible with Koran, both through potions or just casting invisibility on him. And even with all of those, the thing is that he's such a good archer that going in with him for a backstab is probably not even that effective. He has a ×3 backstab now, I think. So it's not even that great of an idea. I'm going to showcase some nice backstabbing in Baldur's Gate 2 once Kira and I dual classes into a thief. And then eventually, of course, reaches ×5 backstab multiplier and uses Kai to ensure the max damage on her backstabs and all that stuff. So that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, I could of course edit his thieving skills to put 40 more points into set traps, and then we would be able to max out set traps. But I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. I don't want to edit too many things, and we just have to make do with what we are given here. But that would be a pretty cool thing from a role-playing standpoint even, because he would kind of be like a trap expert, knowing how to construct and place traps of his own, and then also by extension of that kind of knowledge being very good at detecting other people's traps and disarming them. But anyway, let's just go into open locks, I guess. And then when he gets the next level, I think I'm going to put the remaining points into maybe a little bit of stealth. I don't know. It's not going to be that useful. Anyway, since we have a little bit time to spare before nightfall comes upon Baldur's Gate, and since we've already explored all of the surface areas of Baldur's Gate, let's go into the Urban Man's Dungeon, as that one guy called it, and explore the sewer areas below Baldur's Gate. So there are 3 sewer areas, basically, and we've already pretty much explored this one, although of course we didn't uncover all the terrain, but all of the points of interest basically we've already kind of finished up last time we were here. But there are 2 more sewer areas to explore, and also one thing that I have to mention when it comes to the sewers, I think I've hinted at it or mentioned that before a little bit, that through the sewers you can also get into different places in Baldur's Gate, into different kind of basements, I guess, of a couple of locations. So for example, this one leads us to the Undercellar. There's this entrance and 2 others, one in this corner and one in this one, that you can get through the sewers. So just to showcase that off. And now we basically need to just move to the central sewer area, because this is the eastern one. Whoa, some guys spawned. This is the eastern sewer area, and there's also a central one and a western one. So all that's left to do here is to go here. There's another entrance over here when you go up this kind of corridor, I guess, and turn left. You can also, if you play the game, you can also make your own like map pins, for example, and specify that, you know, like this, for example, leads to the undercellar. I think I remember them decently well, but that's a nice thing that you can do. In general, I enjoy that kind of thing in RPGs where you can like make your own pins on the map and stuff like that. Like, for example, in Legend of Grimrock, you basically like make your own map. That's a pretty cool thing about RPGs that I enjoy. Anyway, here we have some sewer cleaners that point out that it's not safe here and doesn't smell well. And that is a good point about the safety here. Like, look at how many bodies there are in the Baldur's Gate sewers. Look at all this. You can loot this for like 2 more bodies that you can pick up. Like, what happens here in this city? You know, like all of the evildoers just dump all of the bodies of their enemies into the sewers. It seems like. Anyway, there's going to be another undercellar entrance here. Yeah, in the northwestern corner this time. Anyway, now let us teleport ourselves to the kind of main passage, to the center area here, because we're going to encounter Ratchild, a local kobold leader. And I think I'm going to make Imoen invisible because so that she doesn't get sniped. She got damaged by by these acid arrows from Marek last episode. So we're just not going to endanger her in this encounter. And let's proceed. So here's Ratchild. Destroy all those who oppose my people. Feel the wrath of Ratchild. And there's a lot of different like response options that you can give him to mock him. You can ask a little bit more about what he means. My people are rulers of the deeps. Where your people's wastes are sent, that where we thrive. Yeah, that's wonderful that you live down here where all of our waste is dumped. You should be real proud. Anyway, he mentions that even harpers have underestimated him and perhaps died here. So as you can see, a lot of these kobold commandos spawn. He actually has some spells at his disposal, so I'm going to try and probably kill him first, with maybe some people focusing on the other guys. And it's already done. It's just... Oh, there's some other guys to kill there. Just some cleanup. At this point, you know, they can't really do much against us. Did this one dude go upstairs here? Yeah, he did. Oh, no, he escaped into the sewers again. Come on, dude. Don't stop wasting my time. Alright, and Wrathchild has 20 more arrows of fire. Of course, these commandos have like 2 arrows each. And now, there's also a passage that's not active yet. There's a passage to the palace. And I think I wanted to take this one. Yeah. To visit the third area, the western one, because the other one we also pretty much already had explored everything that was interesting there. And here we're going to meet a couple of interesting creatures. And I think what I'm going to do is give Senashira a little explosive toy there. I should probably start using more of these arrows that I don't value so highly, like these arrows of fire, for example, because of that save versus spell for no fire damage. I generally don't regard them to be that great. And, you know, but we've been collecting all of these arrows throughout the whole game. I really should be using more of them instead of just those normal arrows, just to do a little bit more higher damage. Because we're probably not going to spend that many arrows before the game is done. Right, so here is Shlumpsha, the Sewer King. Yeah, so of course feel free to pause here. He's a pretty interesting creature that you can't really know everything about just from encountering this conversation once. It's nice to like quick save before and go through the different conversation options that you have to kind of get to know more about him. Also, this conversation can either end up in a fight or it can end peacefully, but we don't like his attitude here, so it's going to end up in a fight in this case. He seems to know quite a bit about us, and a different dialogue option hints at him being able to like read our mind. Yeah, child of books, because we were, you know, brought up in Candlekeep. Yeah, I have heard your name whispered down these stony halls where the drip of water mingles with the gurgling of the dead. They have wanted you dead, you know. So, who has wanted me dead? Have you? Shlumpsha? No, not I, not yet. Alright, with this you have betrayed your intent. We're going to punish you. But your death is so tempting. Now, so near. I can almost taste it on you, child. Yeah, so let's go with this one. Maybe a death foretold, a death planned for by the gods themselves. But I will not tell you more. Not Shlumpsha, not the faithful Sewerkin, no. So, yeah, if you take some different conversation options, you can get to know that he was a mage before being in this shape, and he actually studied in Candlekeep as well. Anyway, so we can thank him, and we will not end up in a fight, but let's threaten him a little bit more. Yeah, it's gonna be a pleasure for him to end this conversation in a fight as well, so see, we're doing favors to other creatures. Yeah, and let's throw a little explosive to soften them up. One of them goes invisible and can backstab, so I'm going to also keep Imoen hidden. I'm not going to throw a fireball with her. So yeah, let's just go in and kill them. Shlumpsha is kind of has some immunities, kind of similar to Mustard Jelly. But he's gone already. And now we're also going to see another creature that is also going to we're going to be able to deduce from the state of that creature that Shlumpsha isn't all that good of a creature, I guess, to keep alive. Here's a bathtub with a body. Anyway, proceeding further up. Here's another kind of rotting zombie kind of creature of the sewers, which is indicated by this dialogue option. Your flesh, it's all green and alive and crawling. Yeah. Schwertchen. Stop where you are, pale child. So if we ask about that, he's going to tell us that it's a blessing that Shlumpsha bestowed upon him. Yeah, we can put him out of his misery. we can tell him that we have no fear of him. Yeah, he is pretty friendly. Anyway, there's a spider lair here that I want to visit, and already the phase spiders are upon us with their improved teleportation senses that SCS gives them. And I want to clear out that little spider lair for some, you know, decent experience. I'm really too lazy to switch Kiranai to her melee weapon, and I pay for my laziness by her getting damaged twice.
Your life.
And one more. Huge spider.
I care not. I've done had enough of
I
this.
am here. Indeed.
Life is
You're a
adventure
queer
or
but
nothing.
Yes, I am here. Certainly.
Alright, so here there's going to be a passage. Okay, some...
Yes.
Who are you? Ghasts. It doesn't really matter whether they are ghasts or ghouls.
It is.
Ghasts are a little bit more profitable in terms of experience gained.
Yes.
Anyway, here we have a little passage to a building that we're going to visit properly a little bit later, probably in the next episode, I guess, if everything goes well. Here we can go into a basement of the Iron Throne.
It is
So we're
done.
going to I just wanted to showcase that. We're not going to explore more of that just now, or just yet. And here there's another undercellar entrance. Yeah, the last one here.
It is done.
All right, and with that we have fully pretty much explored the
Certainly.
sewer areas, the
I am
urban
here.
man's dungeon. Now, next on our list, we're probably going to be able to, yeah, it's already nighttime. We're going to be ready to do the thieving quests with Narlan.
Indeed.
And not only with him, we're also going to be able to steal the telescope in a second. First, let's go to the northeastern area and prepare ourselves to flee.
Yet wherever fate
Koran is going to have boots of speed, and our rest of the party is going to be positioned near the edge of
Not
the
till I'm gone.
great
map.
peril yields great
And here near the splurging sturgeon, we were supposed to meet up with Narlan.
Swipe the Duchess knickers once, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean. Anyway, here in our first task, we're just supposed to like stand watch while Narlan and his buddy Red Edge, steal from this building over here. And basically, the best thing to do here, well, first we need to wait a little bit. They're doing their burglarizing. Oh, whoa! That's not at all what's supposed to be happening here. That's, I think, the first time I've seen that, and we're not going to get away from this. Well, it doesn't really matter how it happens, but he's generally supposed to come down here and initiate conversation with your thief standing watch. But he just saw us in range earlier, and and just talks to invisible Imoen, I guess now. Alright, so the proper thing to do is to sound the alarm, just like Narlan told us to do. If anything happens, just, shout for them to get out. So yeah, the Flaming Fist guy becomes hostile, and we don't want to engage him, we just want to run. So that's why we were already prepared there. Now we go back to the Thieves Guild, and Narlan's going to be waiting for us there, and I'm going to go through this entrance because I actually forgot to pick up one thing here.
I indeed.
This barrel, I think. Yeah, another potion of fire breath. And also I think it's the enhanced edition that fixed this, and all of those 4 entrances to the Thieving Guild, Thieves Guild. In the classic Baldur's Gate, you would always, the first time you enter through each passage, you would always have this guy initiate a conversation and ask for a password, but I think it's the enhanced edition that kind of changed it so that you only need to do the password conversation once.
Yes, it is done.
Alright, here we're going to have Narlan back, being happy that we've done well, and he's going to have another thieving opportunity for us, so we're going to accept that. And this is a pretty funny one.
I am here. It is done. Certainly.
This is a pretty funny one. We're going to go to that Gantolandan's house in the southeastern district.
It is done.
And in that one, we're not going to be standing like on watch, but we're actually going to take part
peril yields
or
great
participate in the burglary.
Swipe the Duchess knickers
Yeah,
once.
so
you
as
know what I
Narlin
mean.
explains here, he's going to also be inside, but he's going to keep to the shadows. Red Edge is going to be watching for anything suspicious, and we are supposed to get a rogue stone from upstairs here.
Wherever fate takes me.
So here's Gantalandon sleeping, but apparently heard something, and he's like, who's there? And you can impersonate a cat for a second. Disarm this trap, open the container, and here's the rogue stone. And I'm going to stay for a moment longer because this is pretty funny. He's going to initiate another conversation in a second. Well, wait a minute, I don't own a cat. Who's there? And you can say, I'm a stray, go back to sleep. And he's like, that makes sense. Good night, kitty. Alright, so very successful burglary on our part. And we can now go...
Your concern.
actually, before we go back to the Thieving Guild, or why do I keep saying Thieving Guild? It's a Thieves Guild. Here we have another burglary to do. From the Hall of Wonders we have that telescope that Brevlik wanted us to get. And now, since it's nighttime, there's no one here, and we can easily get that telescope from here. And there's also a another rogue stone and a star sapphire that we can get.
Yes, it is done.
And since we're in this area, we can also bring Casson's body to not buddy, back to his father Tremaine.
Indeed.
You roll your dice and you take your chances.
So he's ecstatic about that, and he's going to attempt resurrection.
You roll your dice and you take your chances.
Yeah, he must concentrate. Boom! It succeeded. So he lives again, and now this is such a true kind of parent reaction. Oh my dear, dear boy, you are in such trouble. What in all the planes were you thinking, child, gallivanting through an Umberland temple like that? So help me if turning you over my knee wouldn't kill you outright. You'd jump black to go right to blue. If you want to play the odds, you had best be sure you take responsibility for yourself. The goddess of luck and adventure does not endorse dumb luck or foolish risks. I swear if your mother were alive to hear about this, she'd drop dead where she stood, and then I'd have to raise her too. Yeah, so that's a very lifelike, kind of true, real-life reaction of a parent. Yeah, you're off to your room, and see if I let you out before you're 420. March! Yeah, and we can talk with Varsi here to receive our reward. And it's also pretty... You can figure out what happened to him, also, because he says that he takes some small pleasure in the trouble Casson's in for what they did. You'll notice I've not sat down since you've known me. Yeah, so we get 5,000 experience, 2,000 gold.
I am here.
That's pretty nice.
It is done.
You roll your dice.
And Tremaine doesn't have anything else to say to us. And now we are pretty much truly done with this whole district. Well, I'm wrong. There's Fenton, and we need to hunt a few ank eggs to sell some ank egg shells to him. Alright, now we can go back to
Indeed.
Elf Song first. We're going to give the telescope.
Indeed.
We also got a shield, by the way, a pretty good shield. Telescope here if you want to pause and learn about it. I'm going to also do that. Can you identify that shield? Nope. But it's basically a shield, a large shield, essentially +1, so that gives her +2 general armor class, but it has a +5 bonus to missile attacks, which at this point isn't really that big of a deal. But anyway, Brevlik here.
All that glitters is not gold, but all that's gold most certainly glitters.
Yeah, so he's very happy about how that heist went. Yeah, apparently he already has news about it. About a mysterious break-in at the Hall of Wonders. Yeah, and as I said, also quite a nice experience. reward here, 500 gold, and since we also bartered for a little bit more of a reward, we also get this Wand of Lightning.
Your concern?
Alright, and now let's go back to the Thieves Guild.
Certainly.
And here we're going to finish up some of the quests. Also, you know, we have the 3 like spell component ingredients to make these flying ships that the nation of Halrua is so famous for. Now also we can disarm some of these traps and open the locks. I think there's nothing in most of those. Just in this chest, or no, this container, I think there's something. They're pretty much all trapped, and for some of them I think we're still going to need Imoen with her 100 open locks to open. Yeah, there are some. Oh wow, what am I doing there? I just wanted to quickly loot the magical bullets. There are some bullets +1 and +2. Yeah, and there's nothing in those, but they're pretty much like, you know, the chests and different containers that are supposed to be pretty well locked and pretty well trapped, I guess, for like training purposes. Alright. Now we can talk to Narlin and give him this one rogue stone.
You know what I mean?
And unfortunately in return we only get 3 pearls, whereas a rogue stone is worth 2,500 gold in this game, which is kind of interesting. This is the only gem, I think, that's worth more in Baldur's Gate 2 than it is worth in Baldur's Gate 1. Usually it's the other way around, where we really need to do something with our inventory. Usually it's the other way around, where dang. Let's just get rid of these spare, completely unnecessary helmets that we have. Yeah, I was about to say that usually it's the other way around, where the gems of different types in Baldur's Gate 2 are worth around like 50 or 60% of what they are worth in Baldur's Gate 1.
It is done.
Let's just talk to Resar for a second.
Apologies, but you must die.
I love that line. That kind of betrays what's about to happen here. Anyway, now that we have finished up these quests with Narlin, we can finish up this quest. Yeah, and he's very satisfied that no one has had to die for us to get the spell components or whatever. Fine bit of burglary with no unnecessary attention brought to yourself. Yeah, Resar is also apparently well pleased and will now see to your reward. My apologies, but it was part of the agreement. Like, what do you mean, my apologies? We're supposed to get our reward right now, right? But here Resar chimes in. Yeah, it is unfortunate that I must close all loose ends. This includes potential loose tongues, and though talented, you are also expendable. I offer my sorrows, but you must die. And normally, you would have to fight him. He's kind of a standard SCS high-level mage. But since... Oh, not this night, you gammon-head man, dead man. So yeah, Narlin shows up and backstabs this guy to save us, because we've, you know, earned his respect. We earned his friendship, and from this conversation that you're, of course, as always, feel free to pause and read, you get to know that, you know, Narlin was really displeased with what Alatos had cooked up there for us. He considers us one of our own. Narlin does. Yeah, they work the work and they flee the flee. They with us, and you set us up. Seems you made quite the impression on the guild, you did. It would also seem that I erred aligning with Resar. Blasted politics addles the brains, and time and again I should stay out. Still, we've his coin, and the story of his demise is ours to construct. Never a total loss to be had. Yeah, so our buddy Resar, our buddy Narlin, takes care of Resar, and Resar in the Enhanced Edition actually has a notable scroll, also a Wand of Paralyzation, another one of these very powerful wands, but the unique piece of loot on him is this Fire Shield Blue spell, which is the same as Fire Shield Red, with the exception that it grants 50% cold resistance instead of fire resistance, and it deals cold damage in return instead of fire damage. So it is actually a viable strategy for different types of situations and fights to actually have both of them active, and you kind of have a cool purple looking fire shield if you have both of them active, and you can actually deal like quite some damage back to melee attackers.
Indeed.
Anyway, wow, it's already been 30 minutes, and I had like 2 other things planned out for this episode for us to do. So I guess they will have to let's teleport here. I guess they will have to wait for the next episode, where we're going to have some more cool fights again. So as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.